You're listening to the Manifest Your Greatness podcast, and this is episode number 72. Do you have a goal that you'd love to accomplish, but just don't know where to start? Or maybe you've gotten off to a great start, but just can't seem to get out of first gear? I'm Curtis J. Washington, founder of the Manifest Your Greatness coaching program, and I've helped people from all walks of life manifest the greatness that they already possess deep inside. If you are committed to taking the steps required to become the best version of yourself, you've come to the right place. This is the Manifest Your Greatness podcast. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time to join this episode of the Manifest Your Greatness podcast, where we explore practical and actionable steps to help you manifest the greatness that you already possess deep inside. And before I get started, I just want to say thank you again for all of the feedback. I've been getting some really good comments to some of the more recent episodes that I've put out, and I'm starting to see some emails come in with some questions about potential next episode topics. So I encourage all of you, go to manifestyourgreatness.com and send me an email. Let me know. I'm happy to explore other concepts as long as they have to do with learning to grow and to thrive and to be the most successful version of yourself, the best version of yourself. That is what this program is all about. This is all for you. This is something I do. It is my opportunity to give back. I've had a lot of help along the way, and it's my turn. So I'm very excited to be bringing you new content and more episodes and information that is really just designed to help you manifest the greatness that you already possess deep inside. And today's topic is right in that same vein, helping you manifest the greatness that you already possess deep inside. When is a good time to start this process? When do I start? When will it be the right time for me to start making these changes that are going to be so impactful and help me grow and continue growing years and years and years into the future, so that I can become a better version of myself consistently and ongoing, right? And I've touched on this before in some previous episodes, but it is so important that you understand there is never a great time to start working towards making these changes, right? And there is no book, and I've mentioned this before too, but there's a lot of gurus out there that are trying to say, hey, follow these steps, right? Follow this formula and you too will be successful. Well, newsflash, no, you won't, because everybody's idea of success is different. Not only that, what works for you is not going to be the same thing that works for someone else. And what I mean by that is what drives you forward, what gives you that momentum and what gives you that meaning and that spark, it's going to vary, right? Someone can tell you all about why they did what they did and say, hey, you can do this too. And you might be excited and think, yeah, I can do that. He wrote it down or she wrote it down and explained the steps. Just follow the steps and I can do that. And maybe if you did follow the steps, you would see some success. But the bottom line is that your interest and your why is going to differ from someone else's. Your values are different. What you think of as important, as successful, that's going to vary person to person. So just looking at someone and reading about what they've done, it's great for motivation. It's great to get you to start thinking. It's not great to look at what they've done and say, okay, let's just do what they did, because 9 times out of 10, probably more than that, it's not going to work. So, and with that, right, there's never a perfect time to start, right? I've touched on this before. There's never a perfect time to get started. The most important thing is to identify your why. So look deep inside, give yourself a little bit of time. We don't want to be stuck in analysis paralysis and trying to figure out, what do we really want? What do we really want? Odds are most of you and myself included have to refine what we think we want as we go. Right? We take in new information, we fine tune, we continue on, right? We fine tune, we readjust, and we keep going with the additional information, the feedback, the experiences that we collect, right? So you're not going to get there wherever there is for you without starting now. So a lot of people say, when work settles down, I'm going to get started. When I get this major project done, I'm going to get started. When I finish my move, I'm going to get started. When I, get something situation, when the kids graduate from school, whatever it is, when summer comes, I'm going to get started. Life does not wait for you, my friends. You got to get started, and there's people sometimes think of this idea that, oh, to get started, I have to start climbing this mountain towards my goal on the top. I have a better way to visualize what's really happening with every day you are not taking steps to go forward. You are falling. Okay. Picture yourself. There's a mountain and a cliffside. The moment every time, the moment that you spend, the time that you spend not taking action is time you are falling, right? Because there's two reasons for this. One, the less you do, of course, the further you get from your goal, right? Because you're putting in more things, you're doing other stuff, and that goal becomes further and further and further away, right? The other reason is that time. You're losing time, and it's going to take you time to reach your goal. The later you start, of course, the harder it's going to be to make up that time later. So think about this. You are falling off a cliff, right? And I don't know if you've seen Tomb Raider, but she's got this, this pick that she's able to climb up the sides of cliffs and stuff with. Picture this. What you need to really think about is you are falling, and you will continue falling if you don't take a step. The step is taking that pick and getting it into that cliff wall to stop your fall. That is the first step, stopping your fall. You're not talking about doing anything grand, right? We're not talking about taking a major step forward. We're talking about breaking that fall. And to do that, you need to discover your why, right? And you may take time to get this, right? It may take you a while, but the most important thing is if you've stopped your fall and you're starting to think about it, you're already making progress, right? You're already making progress. So make sure that you start thinking about your why now. If you haven't done it yet, do it now. Don't wait. Start thinking about your why. Start thinking about what really makes you motivated to do things, what you really value, what brings you joy. Think about what you want more of and what you want less of in your life, and try to figure out and see if you can put that information together to help you build a vision for yourself, right? Build that vision and see it and picture it and write it down and tell people about it. And then you just get started, and it doesn't even matter. Like I was saying before, there's no exact plan, right? It's not like, oh, got to put together the action plan and then got to take this step. And then, this will all happen. But the most important thing is taking that first step. So if you discover what your why is, or what you think is your why is, that's the other thing. It doesn't need to be right. You just need to start thinking about it. You'll start taking steps towards whatever you think is your vision, your why, and you'll figure it out, right? You'll start to figure out as the fog clears, as you start to understand more and more about yourself, about where you're going, about what you're after in that moment. You'll start to learn, right? And say, no, I think I need to course correct. I need to course correct. But if you don't take those steps, you'll never know. And never think of taking that time and reaching a dead end as wasted time. It is never wasted time. No time is ever wasted if it's spent in pursuit of trying to better understand yourself and where you want to go, where you want to take your life, how you want to be, who do you want to be, right? So no time is wasted. There's no time that is wasted as long as it is in the pursuit of improvement for yourself, right? And there's never going to be a perfect time to get started. So no matter how busy you are, people say, oh, they got more time than I do. We all have the same amount of time, same number of hours in a day. Some people have chosen to use their time in one way, and I understand some of that they have not chosen, but some of it they have. Start with what you have. Start with what you have. Don't worry about what you can't control. Don't worry about what you don't have. That's the difference between being resourceful and having resources, right? A lot of people assume that if they've got the money, if they've got the time, if they've got all these things, it's going to be easy. Well, it's not, because at the end of the day, you got to take massive action. You've got to take big steps. You got to take risks. You got to shake yourself up, right? That's where the progress happens. And to do that, you need to be resourceful, right? And sometimes less is more. I will tell you out of experience, I have made some of the best business decisions in my life. I've grown some of the strongest businesses that I control now when I had the least money, when I had the least time, when I felt like I was burning the candle at both ends, and I was, trying to figure out, how to manage the schedules with the kids and all these other things. And I had two little girls. It was a lot of work. It was a little stressful, and it was definitely a lot of effort, but I was resourceful, and that's what I want you to be. Be resourceful. Don't envy what other people have if it's something that you cannot incorporate into what you have in your toolkit right now. It's okay to envy a person for what they've become, but you need to take that envy as motivation and as truth that what the goal that you're after is reachable, or that this is someone like I would want to be. That's why I envy them. But don't be jealous, right? Don't think that you can't have it because they have it. That's a big difference, right? Looking up to someone as someone who's been there and done that, taking feedback, taking insight you can gain from them, understanding kind of what they've been through and trying to figure out how it relates to your story. These are all great things to do. It breaks down when you start using someone in their position and what they have as an excuse not to even try, right? And that's not what we're talking about. So there's never a great time to get started, but right now is always the best time to start making steps, right? A friend of mine used to, yeah, he had a saying. He said, well, if you want avocados, well, when's the best time to plant a tree? And he would say 5 years ago, right? Because it takes several years for an avocado tree to start growing avocados. But if you didn't start 5 years ago, if you don't start now, it's going to take you even longer to get those avocados. All right. And I love avocados. So take those steps, right? So don't wait. Don't think that anybody has a perfect formula for you. No one's coming to save you and help you get to where you want to go, because they don't know who you are. Yeah, our parents, our friends, they have a decent idea. Only you know inside where you want to be, the kind of person you want to be, the type of meaningful work you want to do over time. And that starts from you. That starts from the inside. You can go and you can use your resources and you can be resourceful, but don't wait. Get out there and start taking steps. Don't wait for anybody to come along and give you the formula, because there isn't one. You're going to have to create your own. All of the concepts that we talk about in the Manifest Your Greatness podcast, these are concepts. These are things you can leverage. These are things that'll help you. You'll be able to use them, right? If you have an idea of where you might want to go, these are all powerful tools that I've used, that many people have used to make steps faster, to make progress quicker, to get where they want more quickly and more fully and with more joy. But you need to take the time to get started now. Find out what your why is, and then take a step. You have to shake yourself up. Okay, take a step. Look at your calendar, look at everything that you're doing now, and start figuring out where you can carve out 5 minutes there, 10 minutes there, right? Maybe it means less TV at night. Maybe it means no TV at night. Maybe it means not doing some of the other things that you enjoy doing, because you realize that true growth is through a little bit of sacrifice. It's through a little bit of struggle. But none of that is going to mean anything to you, and none of that is going to turn into some actual steps that you can take until you know your why, and until you take the first step, right? You figure out what your why is, you envision it, you write it down, you tell people, you keep that in your mind, you remind yourself why you're getting up out of bed every morning, just earlier, to get these things done. You remind yourself why you're not doing some of the things that you would do if you were, just had extra time, right? You remind yourself why you're making these changes in your lifestyle, right? Remind yourself of that every day and take action every day. Take action every day, right? And the more action you take, the more you'll learn if this is what you want or if it's not what you want. And if you learn that you need to make some tweaks, keep going. If you fail forward. We're going to all run into obstacles. We're going to all run into challenges. And we're going to all have situations that don't go our way. We're going to end up losing money sometimes. We're going to end up feel like we wasted a lot of time, but that is never the case. Think of the money you lose as the cost of your education. Think of the time you spent as money invested in understanding who you are and where you want to go more clearly. You guys, you got this. You got this. That's my challenge to you today. Take that first step. Take that pick, stick it in the cliff wall so you stop falling, and then slowly start to figure out what you need to do to start climbing one step at a time, right? One step at a time. Thank you so much for joining this episode of the Manifest Your Greatness podcast, and I look forward to spending time with you again on an episode in the near future.